My name is Grace and I'm studying a Bachelor of Media with a Bachelor of International Studies, and I'm in my third year full-time. It is so easy to get in trouble. I mean, if you're a journalist, you can just write a story. It's probably not going to get checked over too much these days, and then it's published. And that could be published in print and online, and just the way that the media landscape is changing so much it is really setting up people, and not just journalists, to get into trouble. And so I think that this course, regardless of whether you even practice in a media field, is useful because of that. I expected media policy and law to be boring because I'm not a fan of theory courses personally. I think my greatest concern with media policy and law was that there was going to be a huge amount of legal content and jargon that maybe I wouldn't understand. Seeing as that I'm not a law student, that it would be a bit out of depth for me. I think the biggest challenge in media policy and law was just the sheer amount of information that we had to learn, because every week we'd do a new topic and it would focus on one issue of the law, and then the next week you'd move on. I sort of learnt to prioritise what topics were the most important. So say learning about contempt of court and defamation, those were really crucial. But then, I could probably get away with not knowing the laws about blasphemy. A lot of the other subjects have touched on a few legal issues, and I've noticed that since we've studied media policy and law, that when we do refer back to the legal issues, that I already know what we're talking about. It's just a bit of a refresher. Just externally keep your eye out for stories in the news, because I noticed that I did start to see legal stories that related to what we'd learnt, and I understood what was going on. So I think it's good to do just a little bit of research of your own, because it will help you understand what you're actually studying. I think a lot of my friends didn't really see it as a legitimate degree, but when I tell them about all the cool things that I'm doing, like being on the radio or making videos or something, they're really jealous because they're just reading textbooks in the library. Well, I think the lecturer did make an effort to draw attention to the things that we really had to pay attention to. So she would say, this is how a lot of journalists get into trouble, or this is where. And she used some examples, so she showed us case studies, and that helped us to sort of understand how they were in trouble, why they were in trouble, and most importantly, how we could avoid it. What I learnt was fundamentally how to protect myself in the future from getting sued.